The fact that a saying is cliche makes it no less true. Many have declared data as the new oil so often it's become cliche, but it's also a true statement because data, like oil, is an unrefined resource that ultimately enables businesses to extract and create value in the form of derivatives. F5's Office of the CTO wrote a book, Enterprise Architecture for Digital Business. I've been having chats with each author. Chapter 4, Data is the New Oil, is co-authored by Michael Corrigan and James Hendergart, and I recently had a chat with them. Now, despite our natural tendency to associate oil with gasoline that fuels transportation of all kinds, the reality is that oil is the foundation for more than 6,000 products that we all use every day. The value of data, like oil, depends largely on refinement and production processes, and there's little value in raw data. Rather, it's the information and insights gleaned through careful processing and analysis of the data that produces the value. We already see traditional industries embracing data to grow existing business and create new lines of revenue. For the CIO, the challenge lies in not only managing and scaling existing business data architectures, but putting in place the technologies, tools, and teams needed to run an operational data practice at scale. Chapter 4 explores data and the myriad of ways its role, usage, and governance has expanded beyond business to include operational data and teams that monitor and manage a digital business. This chapter establishes the growing need to effectively manage data and analytics by expanding the roles and skill sets necessary to scale data and machine learning operations. I had a great chat with Michael and James about this chapter, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks everybody for checking this out today. I am joined by James and Mike from our Office of the CTO, and there was a recently released book, Enterprise Architecture for Digital Business, and we're going to be talking about the chapter that these two were actually the author of, which is Data is the New Oil. Really looking forward to chatting about this one, guys, so thanks for joining me. First of all, I'll open with this question here. What is the role of data when it comes to a digital business?
So I think data is we talk about it like oil, meaning it's something that is kind of core to so many different kinds of ways it can be used, but it's also like a bloodstream in that it really fuels the ability for the whole digital enterprise to work. You have to really understand and have the a constant flow of the data, so that you have the heartbeat and the process of it going throughout the whole system.
This concept of bloodstream really works well because data has to flow through the organization and requires, special skills, thoughtfulness, and intentionality about how it's managed.
And it's interesting in how we're talking about this today because the data has already existed. So, us introducing it through this book or reintroducing the concept of data as the new oil in this book, how do you guys see this as having changed recently then?
So we've collected data for a long time, a lot of it very focused on particular like a customer data or a particular type of process data. But what we're finding in terms of digital enterprises is you have to collect the telemetry data, the data about what's going on. So if you want to automate everything from end to end, you have to actually know what's happening among many, many systems at any given time. And then you have to analyze that to constantly adapt the systems. And that is an area that is relatively new because we have collected specific data for a while, but we haven't collected the mass amount of data you need to digitize your whole environment. And a lot of that we're really focusing on here is what we consider telemetry about all the systems that run in your enterprise. And then how you use that with analytics to then figure out how to adapt the systems.
You're right on there, Mike. The concept of a data pipeline that we raised in the chapter showed this flow of the telemetry as it's being collected through the pipeline, through analysis processes, and the insights are what's produced. And it's those insights that are the refined product. So back to the new oil concept, that refined product is where the new value is discovered.
Yeah, and there's an example given here in when it comes to the data in Kohler, which for folks who are viewing this or listening to this internationally, Kohler is a large retailer here in North America, and them using their data as far as beyond just within their own systems, but actually looking at customer insights, how well is their marketing doing, and then actually productizing that and potentially reselling it to other retailers. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
So a way to look at that is every company that has a product or service is now also becoming a tech company who looks at how you gather that data and are able to build derivative value. And some of that value is by looking at a huge amount of data and finding the new insights into that becomes valuable to another set of customers. And so it is both a derivative aspect of it. It is also thinking about your enterprise as a digital enterprise, and that every aspect of it has insights that can be gathered and used in different ways. So it's not just your core product. It's actually all the data enables new products and new services. And you are really becoming a digital tech company.
Yeah, Kroger is leading in the space because they have started to treat their operational data like a first-class business asset, like their code, like their finances.
That is interesting. And you kind of wonder do they ever see the extended usage of this data with potentially competitors as a threat to them? Or, how do you think that an organization like Kroger putting this kind of stuff out there, how do you think they're protected or they're going to stay ahead?
Well, part of staying ahead today is speed and gathering new insights. The bigger challenge that like Kroger has is that, their basic business doesn't grow or change dramatically, right? So they have limited growth potentials off that core business. But the data and insights, which can change much more frequently, are what can give them and their partners an advantage. And the competition issue is really more about speed. Who can get that insight first, and who can leverage that and create a differentiation on it? So it actually is it's not the old business of protecting information. It's actually how fast can you get the insights and use that speed of that to look at new ways of getting value, because the core businesses in a lot of cases don't change.
Cool. And then I think, we'll wrap it up with one more question here. When it comes to this data pipeline now, perhaps, and how we think about it, how is that going to change an organizational structure and the roles involved with dealing with this kind of data?
Yeah, so, Boo, it's really nice to spend a little bit of time on this because, there are new skills that are going to be coming into organizations. Things like, we can say things like data practice and people who are used to understanding analytics around data and telemetry collection. But it also involves the SRE practice, the site reliability engineering, and the operations, because those teams are going to emerge and grow and sit next to the product and service teams and the IT operations teams together. And so that is going to create some organizational change and hopefully it's greater cooperation across silos within the digital business as they mature their business practices and start to make decisions holistically and automate as much as possible.
Yeah, much more of the whole infrastructure will be digital. It will be self-service, and it will be connected. And that is where the competitive edge is now going to be how you can get all the data, analyze it, and react quickly, no matter what business you're in. The speed is the biggest issue today, right? If you can't get the data and you can't analyze it, and your competitor can, they're going to find new opportunities much more quickly and derivatives, and you're going to be really left out. So you have to really think about the whole infrastructure as being digitally enabled, front to back, and things that you thought before were back end IT now need to be front and center as part of your value proposition. And so the whole enterprise needs to be thinking digitally.
That's awesome. I love the insights that this chapter and so many of the other chapters are giving for, that director executive level who needs to think about this next generation of their technology business. So thank you very much, folks, for joining us today and listening to this conversation that we've had. If you're looking to get a hold of this book, we'll have links in whatever platform you're watching, link down below. And otherwise, thank you, James. Thank you, Mike, for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.